Women are the kind of people that people come out of.
And they wonder why the birth rate has plummeted.
Ladies, when we're talking about how some of these men really want to own us and make us as a property, as a tool, rather than treat us like a human being, let's talk about it. Hey beautiful people, how you all doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome to my channel. How have you all been? Hope you guys are doing great. So today's video is a video of a CNN interview that has gone viral and has struck the conversation. So the CNN interview went on with the interviewer asking this pastor, is a popular pastor in the US, and with the old patriotic system and ideology about how a woman how men are superior to women. That type of teaching, that's what he was teaching. But what got people talking was the fact that this man literally said that a woman is a tool where just breed children and just raise children, and that it takes no special talent to breed, to have children. And you could clearly see from the face of the interviewer, which she's a mother, you could clearly see the shock in her face when he said this. But the interviewer also went on to interview other pastors that went on to talk about how to bring the law that says that women can vote and all that in the US, and one household law. And this is something that I know is a conversation that has been on in a while, especially in the political system in the US, talking about a household vote where an household gets to vote. So apparently the vote is going to be cast by the man, which obviously if the wife does not agree with his choice of voting, his vote does not count because she's not allowed to vote, to take that right from women from voting. But more conversation was had about this whole crazy thing and all that, and people are wondering what the birth rate are low, right? Okay, this interview is going to do it. Anyway guys, let's go check out some clips from this interview, people's reaction to it, and then we'll come back and talk more.
Women are the kind of people that people come out of.
So you just think they're meant to have babies? That's it. They're just a vessel.
No, it doesn't take any talent to simply reproduce biologically. The wife and mother, who is the chief executive of the home, is entrusted with 3 or 4 or 5 eternal souls.
I'm here as a working journalist, and I'm a mom of 3.
Good for you.
Is that an issue
for
you?
No, it's not automatically an issue.
Josh and Amy Prince, along with their 4 kids, moved here from Washington State.
Do you see Amy as your equal?
Yes and no, in the sense that we're both saved by grace. We're absolutely on equal footing, but we have very different purposes, God-given.
But do you see yourself as the head of the household, as the man?
He is the head of our household. Yes, and I do submit to him.
So like moving here
was
ultimately your decision.
Yes.
That's a great
example.
Wilson says in his vision of a Christian society, women as individuals shouldn't be able to vote. His fellow pastors Jared Longshore and Toby Sumter agree.
In my ideal society, we would vote as households. And I would ordinarily be the one that would cast the vote, but I would cast the vote having discussed it with my household.
But what if your wife doesn't want to vote for the same person as you?
Right. Well, then that's a great opportunity for a good discussion.
There are some who have gone so far as to say that they want the 19th Amendment repealed.
I would support that. And I'd support it on the basis that the atomization that comes with our current system is not good for humans.
I think that you think that you know where this video is going to go, but I want you to take how bad you think this video is going to be and multiply it by 1,000,000.
Women are the kind of people that people come out of. It doesn't take any talent to simply reproduce biologically.
That's Douglas Wilson. He's a Christian nationalist pastor who, by the way, our U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is Wilson's most prominent and public follower in the Trump administration.
Hegseth has publicly praised Wilson.
Now we're standing on the shoulders of a generation later. The Doug Wilsons and the others.
A lot of people are like, so what? He's just religious. He's going to church. That argument doesn't really hold water when you find out that the senior pastor and the executive pastor of the church that they both go to both agree that the 19th Amendment that gives women the right to vote should be repealed, because they don't think that women should have the right to vote, because they do think that women are subservient to men.
In my ideal society, we would vote as households. And I would ordinarily be the one that would cast the vote.
There are some who have gone so far as to say that they want the 19th Amendment repealed.
I would support that.
When that senior pastor and executive pastor said that on that interview, Pete Hegseth actually quote tweeted the interview and said, "All of Christ for all of life." And if you think that they're all talk about this shit, they're already doing it. Pete Hegseth has already hosted his first meeting, what he says will be a monthly Christian prayer service at the Pentagon. And they already established the White House Faith Office. It was literally outside of the White House speaking in tongues and praying.
We are standing on the soil of the White House, and we are declaring your word.
Women are the kind of people that people come out of.
And they wonder why the birth rate has plummeted. But this is what they want. We've tried to warn you.
So you just think they're meant to have babies. That's it. They're just a vessel.
No, it doesn't take any talent to simply reproduce biologically.
Are you ready to believe us yet? This is Pete Hegseth's church. They've just set up shop in D.C. Pete Hegseth, who also posted this interview giving the full endorsement of the idea that women shouldn't be allowed to vote. This has always been the goal, and I can show you through another terrifying pastor, Joel Webben, one of the architects of P2025, exactly why they don't want us voting.
Because if we had a Christian nation tomorrow, and women did have the right to vote, we would not have a Christian nation within 50 years.
There you have it. Within 50 years, there won't be a Christian nation because you know what? That Christian nation doesn't benefit women. It subjugates us. It says you are property of men. First your father, then your husband. If you don't have a husband, then your brother. If you don't have a brother, your next of kin. You're not hiding it. This bullshit about a family vote, they won't ever take into account what will benefit women because the things that benefit us do not benefit them.
Yeah.
Women are the kind of people that people come out of.
So you just think they're meant to have babies. That's it. They're just a vessel.
No, it doesn't take any talent to simply reproduce biologically. The wife and mother, who is the chief executive of the home, is entrusted with 3 or 4 or 5 eternal souls.
So this soggy sack of shit is Douglas Wilson. He is a self-described Christian nationalist pastor based in Moscow, Idaho, who has built an international network of over 150 churches, Christian schools, a college, and a publishing company through his Christ Church since the 1970s. He advocates for a patriarchal Christian theocracy, believing America should adhere to biblical societal interpretations. Politically, no surprise, Wilson aligns with far-right conservative ideologies, and his influence has intersected with the Trump administration through figures like Pete Hegseth. Again, no surprise. Hegseth is a congregant of a Wilson-affiliated church who appreciates his teachings. Notably, Wilson has planted a church in Washington, D.C. with the explicit goal of calibrating Christians working in and around Trump administration to his theological worldview, seeking to provide a solid theological foundation for their cultural and political engagement. Wilson's controversial statements, particularly his views that women are the kind of people that people come out of and that it doesn't take any talent to reproduce, reduces women to mere biological functions, reflecting a deeply regressive and misogynistic worldview that dismisses their autonomy, intellect, and contributions. This archaic perspective, which ties women's worth solely to breeding, ignores the courage, resilience, and skill required to nurture life and thrives on a simplistic, demeaning stereotype that only a narrow-minded ideologue like Wilson could peddle. In 2025, women are thriving as strong, independent, and successful leaders in the workplace. CEOs, scientists, policymakers, and innovators shaping society with their intellect, creativity, and strength. They are not defined solely by reproduction, but by their ability to break barriers, drive economic growth, and lead with compassion and vision.
Women are the kind of people that people come out of.
So you just think they're meant to have babies. That's it. They're just a vessel.
No, it doesn't take any talent to simply reproduce biologically.
Some who have gone so far as to say that they want the 19th Amendment repealed.
I would support that. And I'd support it on the basis that
I cannot describe how surreal it is to see these ideas gaining the type of mainstream attention that they have gained. First of all, it's very alarming to see the influence that people like Doug Wilson are having on very powerful people in the US. Doug Wilson is a name that I grew up with when my family was really involved with Vision Forum. Vision Forum loved Doug Wilson. Sold all of his tapes and his lectures and books and all that, so I'm very familiar. I remember specifically hearing Doug Phillips from Vision Forum do the whole 19th Amendment thing where he was like, I think this is where the downfall of the American family began, because the 19th Amendment allowed for families to not be on the same page, for husbands and wives to have different opinions on politics and who they should support, and that's just terrible. But it is also really validating to see ideas like this a bit more, like, at least broadcast in the mainstream, have people rightfully react with what the absolute talking about. Very validating.
Very glad that CNN covered Christian nationalist pastor Doug Wilson.
Women are the kind of people that people come out of.
So you just think they're meant to have babies. That's
Well,
it. They're just a vessel.
No, it doesn't take any talent to simply reproduce biologically.
Wilson says in his vision of a Christian society, women as individuals shouldn't be able to vote. His fellow pastors Jared Longshore and Toby Sumter agree.
In my ideal society, we would vote as households.
There are some who have gone so far as to say that they want the 19th Amendment repealed.
I would support that.
Do you accept women in leadership roles in the church and in government?
In the church, no.
Why?
Because the Bible says not to.
And I need my fellow Christians out there to recognize that Doug Wilson is not as fringe as we would like him to be. Pete Hegseth goes to his church. Oh, just because Pete goes to one of his churches doesn't mean he endorses everything he said in the interview. Oh yeah, he retweeted the interview. Now, Donald Trump is not a Christian nationalist. I don't think he believes in anything but himself. But if you voted for him and support this administration, you have elevated Christian nationalism. Because Doug Wilson and his church admitted that one of their goals is to infiltrate the Trump administration because they want Christian dominion of the world.
I'd like to see the state be a Christian state. I'd like to see the nation be a Christian nation. And I'd like to see the world be a Christian world. In the late 70s and early 80s, sodomy was a felony in all 50 states. That America of that day was not a totalitarian hellhole.
So you would like America to go back to that?
Yep.
Here's a quote Doug Wilson said about slavery. Slavery produced in the South a genuine affection between the races that we believe we can say has never existed in any nation before the war or since. These men will say the most racist, sexist stuff and then say this.
I'm not a white nationalist. I'm not a fascist. I'm not a racist. I'm not a misogynist.
And I'm not a redhead.
Hi, hello. That extremist pastor, that fringe Doug Wilson who is on CNN, he's not fringe. He's not extreme. I just recently left Christianity, and I come from a couple of different backgrounds in Christianity, but one of them that's most important in my childhood is the Reformed faith. Yeah, it's huge. It's massive. Doug Wilson is not fringe. Doug Wilson is infiltrating homes like you would not believe. His daughter is actually Rachel Yankovich, and she previously Wilson, she got married, and she is massive in the church, especially massive with young women or married women with children, specifically married women with children. She's writing book after book after book. Doug Wilson loves the idea of the sin of empathy. Rachel loves the idea of the sin of empathy. Women are not allowed to vote. No. I mean, they're allowed to right now, but this is not fringe. This is not new. They do not want women to vote. I come from a church where they would not let women vote in the church. We were not allowed to be present in church meetings, that our husbands or our fathers were to tell us what happens in church meetings. And you wonder to yourself, aside from all of the craziness that brings, a specificity, what about a single woman who doesn't have a father in the church? What about perhaps a divorced woman? No, she was not let in. No, she was not let in to the meetings where we could vote. No, she was not let in to hear that there was in our church, because no man was above her to let her know these things. Story for another time. But no, those meetings where really big things are told in the church, it's up to the men to share with their wives or their children. Yeah, if you don't have a man, you're not allowed in. And they want that in America. They absolutely, I promise you, Doug Wilson is not fringe. I need to scream this from the mountaintops. He is not fringe. He does not believe women. Women are property. I come from a family who believed that. I divorced a family who absolutely believes that women are property. They said it with their own mouths. This is not fringe. This is modern day Christian America. This is modern day Western Christianity. I I need everyone to know that Doug Wilson is not fringe. He is the norm.
Please let me know what you think about these conversations down in the comment section. But as always, keep it respectful. You're on this channel. We're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a very respectful way. So go ahead, feel free, share your thoughts. It's really interesting because what he said about how women are just another people that just bring another, and try to downplay that it doesn't take a special talent to bring another human being to this world. This just shows the mentality. And this is why, like, when I talk about centering yourself as women and being independent and really unlearning a lot of the things society has taught us and deconstruct a lot of the things that society has taught us, these are some of the things. Because it will shock you that you see the ideology that they are talking about, how they try to downplay women that have given birth or women that wants to give birth, or the art of being pregnant and having a child, and how women are property and how women should not speak, and how women don't have, like, you need to be under a man for you to be respected, you need to be under a man for you to attain position, you need to be under a man for you to be successful. It's something that it's very, very common in my society, in my culture, like, and to see, and this is why, like, and I would say these are some of the things that started of me also kind of unlearning a lot of things and deconstructing a lot of things as a young woman up to now, is this mentality. Because I came up like, I was raised in a society where women, you have to take permission from your husband. Like, even if you need to cut your hair, you have to take permission from your husband. If your husband doesn't allow you to cut your hair, then you can't cut your hair. If you want to travel, you have to take permission from your husband. You have to ask your husband. And if your husband says no, you can't just go. You have to appeal him, you have to beg him. And for me, that didn't really sit well with me. So hearing that there are still men that still want to glamorize the patriarchal system, I'll say there's a lot of men, even in my society, that still glamorize this patriarchal system, where they believe that women are just property, women are just tools, and they are not amount to them. Women should not be in gatherings than when men are. And they will quote that part of the Bible that said that women are not allowed to speak in the presence of men in the church. They will quote that part out. But my heart, like, it's really scary, and this is why, like, I am so passionate. Like, the same way people, I've got people like, oh, Destiny, you're posting you're against men, you're against the system, you're against society. It's not that I'm against it, and the fact that I will continue posting more content to empower women, to inform women, to educate women, because of things like this. Because whether we like it or not, and this is why I always beg you guys to go ahead, share these videos out there so that more women are well informed, more educated, and know exactly what they are getting themselves into. There are women that are married to these men, that have children for these men, and they've raised these children with this ideology. The same way we sit back and have this knowledge and educate ourselves, and all that, these people are pushing an agenda out there. And if we don't also speak up and have this conversation and push our information and push our knowledge out there for more people, more younger girls to know, the agenda is going to eventually overpower us. And the truth is that some people say, but you are in Nigeria, this is in the US, la 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 la. One thing you guys don't know, whatever happened in the US trickles down to the rest part of the world. My society is already bad and treats women poorly already. My society is already treats married women like shit already. My society already treats women that have children like shit, and like they don't have options, they don't have a life, they can't have a life. They've condemned them in terms of, they've already put the fear where they let them know that this is it now, you're stuck here and you can't amount to anything but just to cater for these little human beings, this man, if you don't do. So why I'm speaking up and why I'm continuing to make content like this is the fact that this agenda, if it's being pushed, is going to spread worldwide. That's for sure. So please go ahead and share videos like this. Share videos that educate women, that inform women. I'm not telling anybody not to get married or not to be in a relationship and all that, but be it with a very good intention. And this is why I'm a big advocate of women to have some type of independence and all that. Because when you have your money, when you're working and you're securing the bag for yourself, you can provide for yourself. It's a different level. And also when you've done the work, you've healed yourself and you can be by yourself, you love yourself, you love your own company, it's a different level of self-love that comes with that, because then they don't have to emotionally blackmail you to be in a relationship or marriage with them. Then they don't have to financially manipulate you to be in a relationship with them. You will be in those relationships because you want to be with it, because they treat you right. And a lot of the time women in that are, I'll speak for my society like I always say, because that's where I know they can't speak up about these things. They just internalize it and just keep it quiet, because a lot of women will be in relationship with men that treats them that shit because of finance. A lot of women will be in relationship with men because of they feel like their clock is ticking, because they need to have children, they need to be under a man. They will overlook how they are treated and how they genuinely feel over just with the presence of just having a man. There's something that they always say in my society: a woman that has a man's name is more respected. And for me, that's the reality of a lot of women in my society. They would rather just even just be under a man and answer the man's name, rather than being single and be happy and genuinely have peace. So please, there are a lot of, like you saw the other creator list out books that the man's daughter has, and there are women, still women like us, that still believe in this patriotic system, and they are still going to push it. They are going to tell young girls this is the way to go, where clearly we know this is not the way to go, and it needs to stop. These people want to take people back to where women didn't have a voice, where our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers stayed in relationship that does not serve them and got traumatized, got abused over and over. They want to take us there because that's where they have their power. And for me personally, any man that thinks in this patriotic system of an ideology of control over a woman and owning a woman like a property, you are so insecure and so weak for yourself for you to even think that bringing another human being down or isolating and controlling another human being is what makes you a man. They don't see us as human beings. We are humans. We have our rights. We breathe the same air they breathe. They are not special than we are. God gave us 24 hours, all of us 24 hours. He didn't give them 25 hours and then give us 24 hours. So don't ever make you feel like, oh, a man is bigger than you. And people will say, oh, but the interview they did with the couple that said, oh, that's the man just moved woman, so she does not even have a say. And that's not me saying that when it comes to any form of relationship or dynamic, everybody has the role to play. That does not mean that because you have your role, that does not mean I cannot step into your role and do certain things. That does not mean. But in this type of patriotic ideology, a woman does not have a say. You just follow like an idiot. Sorry, I hate cursing, but it is what it is. So anyway, guys, please let me know what you think about this conversation down in the comment section. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go ahead and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push up my content for more people to see, and that'll be you supporting this channel and this girl. Yes, so go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys in my next video. Deuces.